I got 12 minutes and 18 seconds.
Nice. Does anybody have any comments, feedbacks they want to?
I have a couple things. So one thing that I looked at was that it might be helpful if you number your slides. I know like when I go to a lot of presentations, if somebody wants to ask you a question about a specific slide, it can help an audience member be like, hey, can you go here instead of scrambling around? On some of your slides, the text can sometimes be difficult to read. Just like, I know there was one picture, it was like the first fieldwork tour slide, there was like a lot of sticks and things.
Oh, yeah.
I can still read it, but at the same time, like it could be a little bit like I maybe want it to pop more. Maybe if you bolded your letters, sometimes that could really be helpful. Another thing that I had was you use like 1, 2, 3, like you number your bullets. And sometimes you use those numbering as like, this was step 1, step 2, step 3, or like this was part of a 3-step process kind of thing. And then other times they were kind of just like there as thoughts. And maybe if you differentiated between numbering and bulleting, that would be really good. I thought you like presented so well though. I hardly heard like any ums or ahs, and like you knew what you were saying, and you practiced it well obviously, but you didn't even read off of anything. That was awesome. Yeah. So mine are just like visual things. So you did that really well.
Okay, so one thing, just it could be kind of something for the very end. I would definitely put an acknowledgement slide. Just whoever your mentor was, just I think that's kind of important, and just to thank them and stuff. I kind of felt bad about the beginning, but I would say definitely just remember that most people won't know who you are. So for a lot of things where it's like when you're talking about the hardware, you're saying, oh, I was walking around, they won't know that. So you say like, I walked around with this. I think that would be a little more helpful, just to assume people don't know who you are.
No idea.
And then I kind of want everyone else's feedback for this one. I thought that sometimes when the pictures, let's say like for some of the slides, when you were talking about, I think towards the very end, we were talking about the Marine curriculum, you had like the picture of like a goal, like that one. You weren't even talking about a goal at that point. It could be a little distracting. But just like some of the pictures I think are a little distracting, where it's like, I would put pictures that either correlate with what you're talking about, or like at that moment, or probably something that's not as like distracting. I think this one's kind of like, it's a nice picture, but like I think you may lose a lot of people when you're talking over this slide. I don't know if
On top of that too, I know there was one slide where you had a map with all of those points that you were referencing. And I think it's awesome that you have that map, but the fact that you have text over the map, but you're still referencing the map, that was kind of tricky too. Yeah, same with the picture.
they were really nice. It's just sometimes it's like if you had like a snake, if you weren't referencing a snake, you may be losing your audience.
Or like the Empire State Building, the map one. Yeah.
I just figured everyone would know the Empire State Building, so that was a good example. I could do that in Apple Door Google Maps. Actually, no, there's nothing on there. That's why I'm doing the other.
Well, you could use that to introduce the idea, right?
That's a need.
Yeah. If you do the same thing for Appledore, you'll see what's happening.
I don't know if the explanation that you gave of why science was as compelling as it could have been. I felt like you said why science because science is awesome, which isn't like as meaningful as it could be. And I wasn't that convinced.
So yeah.
And she's a scientist.
So I agree in that I liked that you immediately began to sort of identify what the needs are and the why. I like that it was up front. I feel like it could be fleshed out. I would agree with that. And so one way you can do that is you have, so I think that it starts out with needs and then why, and then it kind of goes into, solutions. Okay, this, I don't think you need that at all. I mean, that's fine, logistical, like for helping you plan, but I don't think the general audience member would really need to know that. So if you cut that out.
And talk more about this.
Yes, because these are the key things, right? Like do you even exist here? That is more important than me knowing your sequence of events, right? And that's more interesting to the average And we can talk about that further and help you sort of explore those options.
So you have 3 main goals, correct?
Yes.
I'm wondering, you got so much data, and of those 3 goals, which ones do you have the most amount of data right in hand right now?
Right now, it's definitely the first one. I'm waiting on so the first one, yes. The third one the second 2 are more rate limiting, which I have to work with other people. Of course, that's important, but in terms of scheduling, I've done a lot more with the first one. With the second one, this really awesome Color Pano Tour. This is really cool, but Alexa and Mr. Wilder are still looking into it because we still haven't figured out whether or not we like this program, because you can only do video, photo, and text. You can do no video. And so that's sort of a big drawback if I have a lot of video. And so you can't do everything as a KML, which you can have photo, video, and text, and links. But the trade-off would be that this is a really giant file you have to download. And it doesn't look as nice as this, which is all accessible online. And Mr. Wiley and Alexa are going to figure that out. I've sent them a follow-up, but I think they're still figuring that out. For the third one, we do have written lesson plans for both of the turns and for the intertitle. Dr. Kopp enjoys the intertitle one, and then when Dr. Craig gets back from vacation, she'll review the turn one. We'll be going back out to White Island to get a little bit more footage, perhaps on the 18th. But between now and then, we're thinking we can put together a turn piece as well as complete that lesson plan.
So what I'm wondering here is, once you've given the audience the why is it important, why you're doing it, and you go into your 3 tasks, and then select one of those and really expand it with the data that you have, so we can see, okay, this is what you've done already. And that way the audience is going to be aware that you've got all these other plans, and you progressed along those. But we want to see some actual hardcore data for what you've done, as it's applicable to Ecuador. I mean, in theory, you could have 3 12-minute sessions here, one for each one of the 3 tasks. Right now, it's all crammed into one, and it's just kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, I was
Can I follow up on that? I think the explanation that you just gave as to what the benefits and limitations of those 3 different programs was extremely valuable. I'm not sure that came out in your talk. Like, why would we use one over the other? You're like, this one doesn't do video, this one does, but it's a huge file that's hard to download. So we're looking at the various solutions. Because it shows you've done some analysis of what's available and how you can present the information.
I think perhaps related to Jim's point is the idea that you all don't actually have to present on every single thing you do. This is an opportunity for you all to highlight your work. It is not the same as like your written report or poster, because you can only convey so much in a 12-minute talk. We've never seen your work before. Well, we've seen your work before, but most members of the audience will never have seen it. So the general advice that I like to give, and many people give, is try and think of like 2 things that the average person can take from your talk and remember. Because also remember that they will be in a symposium and they're listening to 10, 12, I don't know how many talks we're up to now, but it will be a lot. So Matthew, you're clearly doing a lot of work. One way you can demonstrate the breadth of what you're doing is to say, I have these components to my work. For the sake of time, I'm going to focus on 1 or 2. And you can decide how you want to do that. I'm not saying it has to be that. I'm just saying, I think in talks, what the tendency is for people to want to put a lot of it in to show how awesome it is, because it is awesome. You're doing a lot of work. But I feel like the problem can be that then we lose a lot. Whereas if you give 1 or 2 solid, nice stories, then we can remember it and take it home with us. So that might be something to think about for everyone.
Yeah, to follow up on both of those, what I took away from your talk, the way you have it, is your process of getting to the end product. But it would be really nice to see what that end product is. And so if you only focused on one, you could show us some clips or still shots from videos, or have a map of how all the individual pieces tied together, not a map, but like a chart, how all the individual pieces fit together for a package for a student to view or something like that. So I'd like to see the actual, some example of the actual product and not, because I think that will probably, and you do that here with the map actually, right? We see a map, this is a product that you've been working on, but in the other two components we haven't seen that, but that's what's really interesting. So I think if you focus on one or two of your goals to present, then you can incorporate that.
Yeah, I mean, you have the advantage of, you have awesome video, I know it, I've seen it. We've all seen it, or many of us have seen it. So I believe some of that's even perfectly formatted, like it's a minute long or 2 minutes.
It's all set to be 3 minutes.
Yeah. So I'm not saying you have to show the whole thing, because 3 minutes is kind of a long time for something like this, but you can show 30, 45 seconds worth, and I feel like that would go a long way. And also, it's just visually interesting, right? I was curious where all the videos were in your talk, because I didn't make them.
I'm just curious if what you guys think. Do you think there should be something about future work, like what you hope to happen after I'm gone, like for all of us? It's just like, so like, this is what I've done. Possibly want to do this in the future, or is that kind of not necessary? Because like, if it's like something like if you wanted to add that, if you wanted to add it at the end, you could say like, oh, although I'm gone, next intern can.
I don't think there's any, in my way of thinking, there's no fixed rule. Like, it just depends.
Okay.
And if there's an obvious gap where like you would do the next step, like you could say that. But if you present a nice clean story and it's got a nice, sort of conclusion, I don't feel like you have to present anything. I don't know if other people feel that way, but I don't think there's any rule about it for sure.
Do we want to go through slide by slide and look at the real presentation aspects of it? Consider things like font, consider things like centering and that sort of thing to make it really powerful.
One thing to consider is that this could all change, Matthew, based on whether or not you decide to focus on one or pick two or do all three. One thing that I thought was interesting is that you have what's called parallel structure. So you introduce the three projects, you introduce the methods for the three projects, and then you roll through it. I think that's really good for a paper when I can sit, or the reader can sit and like really evaluate what's going on. I think parallel structure is more difficult to follow in a visual format when I'm trying to juggle all of this. I felt like it was kind of like a fire hose of like, oh, that's a lot of information coming at me. So one thing you could do that doesn't cost you anything, it's really just about you moving slides around, is you could tackle each story. I like to do it and say like, okay, I'm gonna give you 3 looks or vignettes of like how I'm attacking this problem, or you could break it out by like, okay, this is the first problem I'm gonna address, here's the way I did it, or here's the need it's filling, and then I'm gonna move to the next one. So I think it's up to you, but I think parallel structure is really good for writing and when you have like time to digest something. I think parallel structure is harder when it's a visual talk. And so you might consider rearranging things so that you're just talking about the first project in its entirety, and you're going to wrap it up and then move on to the next one. It's up to you, obviously, but I think that might work better. It obviously depends on like whether or not you ditch one thing because you just want to focus more on the other two or whatever. But that could be really difficult, I think, as a general.
One thing I definitely also really like that you did, just because I'm definitely going to use it now for myself, is put the recap at the very end. I liked that because sometimes, like, for 12-minute toggle, so who knows what could have happened, or people have dozed off or whatever, and you're reminding them, and you kind of repeat some similar stuff of what you were talking about before. So I really like that, and I think you should keep that no matter what you change, just like a brief summary at the end, just so this is what I've done and this is why it's important.
So let's look at this first slide. When I think of science education, I don't think of crap looking at me. So what I would do to make this more grabbing is center science education. Put your name underneath that, also centered in somewhere smaller font, and then have a picture of a class in the inner title. You know, it's an action shot of people doing something that's related to science education. And everybody jump in on this to either add to or criticize it or whatever.
I agree, and I think science education should be a larger font than your name as well.
Those 3 topics, I think there were 3 topics, you said at SML, something, it's like, at that point. Maybe you can like use like one slide for each and like have pictures. I don't think it's that one, I think it's something, a solution, yeah, to that. So maybe you can have like slides for that and like pictures of the actual things, like for field work tours, you can have like pictures of people walking around, or like the thing you use, the 3D camera. Like you can divide some slides by themselves in each topic. Yeah.
But remember, this is a 12-minute talk, 1 slide per minute.
So yeah, that's the general thumb is 1 slide. You could also have 3
Or like
images
3
right next to
little
it.
Yeah,
images of like
multiple
divided, just not 1 to 3.
So is everybody happy with this slide? How can this be improved in terms of font and centering? I like Sarah's idea about the bullets rather than the sequential numbers.
I also think like the titles, like if you just make them a little bit bigger, I don't know.
Yeah, they're all, everything is the exact same
Yeah.
font.
Yeah. But yeah.
I think it's just, I think we're kind of gonna have the same criticism of every slide, is that I think that I would just relate the pictures to what you're talking about. It's kind of like what I said before, just like, so I think that's gonna be the same for every single slide. The pictures are really nice, and
Yeah,
if
it's
the
always-
if the pictures relate to what you're talking about, I would keep them and possibly make them smaller so that it's not like taking up their, it's not like overwhelming for the other person or distracting them, but like, I would definitely just make it more focused to what, when you're on this slide, have the picture geared to what you're talking about, because it kind of also kind of keeps them in line to what you're, it doesn't have the audience go on a different tangent than what you want them to. You want them to stick with what, a parallel line, you want them to stick with what you are. You don't want to be like, it's a goal, and now you're still talking about this, and now they're thinking about goals. So it's like, you don't want to get that tangent off.
I think this is another slide that you don't necessarily need. I think with the timeline and this together, I started thinking like you kind of set up your presentation like you would a lesson plan, which is, applicable to your background. But remember, the presentation is supposed to be a story, a presentation of what you've done, not a lesson.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, so your title is science education, and I'm thinking, this is awesome stuff. I feel like the title science education does not sell or do this story justice. I feel like this could be packaged in a way that would really help us understand how great this work is. And so one way you could do that is, a more descriptive title that really kind of like, science, what about science education? Are you, I don't know, something more descriptive, something more, that hooks the audience member, right? Because as it is, it's kind of like, does feel kind of lesson planish, like, boom, I'm gonna give you this, and I'm gonna give you this, and I'm gonna give you this. And I feel like you could do that.
To kind of follow up on that, the Northwest Hawaiian Islands, the Marine Monument up there, their sort of motto is not every classroom can go up to the Northwest Hawaiian Islands, but we can bring the Northwest Hawaiian Islands to every classroom because we have this similar material. And that might, you might say something like bringing shoals to the classroom or something like that, bringing shoals to you. If I understand, that's kind of what eventually you're getting at, right?
I feel like there's a say like that here too. Like we bring the field to the class.
We said that though.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like the pictures. I really do.
Yeah,
The pictures are great. It's
That's
just
what I picked on. I enjoyed these pictures.
You
That was
can
my
pick the ones that are, for the ones that are not directly applicable, you can pick your favorite and make that your thank you slide or your question.
This one's
There's
okay.
that.
I like this one because the goal's like, what's going on?
That could be your questions.
Ooh.
It looks like you photoshopped that into it.
No, because the aperture is quite the f number is quite large, so the field of view is very shallow.